is that you're all looking very beautiful. You're all looking very much alive. You're all looking like you're very much here and present in this moment. And that's the oneness that I see. That you are human beings seeking to be in connection, in communion with like-minded people in this idea of knowing the divine, knowing the one life, knowing the one mind. And then sometime later, you're going to separate out and you're going to start finding your differences. Some of you are going to get your coffee and it's going to be black. Some are going to want half and half. Some are going to want coffee mate. Some are going to want to add sugar to it. That's the multiplicity of it. Nothing's wrong in that. Have your coffee the way you want it. And allow others to have theirs the way, or if they don't want coffee, maybe they want lemonade. You know, that's all good. Can we take that even further into our relationships? Oh, that's a big one, isn't it? You know, how can we find in our relationship the oneness and still be able to identify ourselves as the individual? Here's where it gets really tricky, is trying to be individual together. So often in my counseling with couples is that they have lost sense of the individual in an attempt to be together. And usually what happens is that one has to be more together than the other. So someone tends to lose their individuality. They begin to lose sight of who they are as a person. And then they wonder why there's divisiveness. See, so how do you be together and be an individual? It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of practice. We teach this, we try to bring this into our teaching of science of mind. Often in our teachings, we talk about, we honor all faiths and all traditions and all religions. We just don't let them in the door. You know, it's like, you know, there'll be Sundays when I'll get up here and I'll want to talk about the teachings of Jesus, and all of a sudden I see a lot of people getting really anxious in their seats because they don't want it for some reason. Oftentimes the reason is because the religion that has been built around it, the institution that has been built around it, or, you know, those who have been you know, pushing it or placing it or putting on top of you in some place and some time, have misconstrued what the message was. But the teaching is true. The same as the teachings of the Buddha or the teachings of Confucius or the Dalai Lama. All of these are just individuals on a journey, on a path, trying to connect with the one mind, the divine. And most of them, like Ernest Holmes, didn't want to create an institution around it because they didn't want the institution to become the message. They wanted the message to be the truth. And yet in our world, in our physical form, we have a need, I'm not sure why, but we have a need to create institutions in order to support our message. Not a bad thing if you can focus in, if you can come back to the message, if you can come back to the truth, and you don't get caught up in seeing what the institution is all about. It's an important aspect. Our institution here, the Center for Spiritual Living Palm Springs, consists of a number of things, and one of them is a piece of property and a building. That's part of our institution. It's not our message. I've said this before. We could do this outdoors. It wouldn't be as comfortable. It would probably be most often really hot. And you wouldn't be willing to sit here for 40 minutes and listen to me if we were in the blazing sun. So we create a box by which we can come into and have some comfort in order to move closer to the message, to the understanding of what it is that we're trying to get to. Oneness. What we're trying to reach out to, what we're trying to capture here is to know God, in whatever word you want to use that. To know the divine, to know the one mind, to know the one life. And to do it in such a way that through the degree and the level that we know it and that we understand it, it begins to move through our physical being and becomes the experience and the expression of who we are. And so I believe and I practice this. The more that I know the oneness, the more that I know the divine, the greater my experience is in my physical body. The healthier I am, the more vibrant I am, the more abundant and prosperous I am, the more love that I have to give, to share, to receive. But it takes work. It takes practice. And I have to live it every day. I get to speak about it, particularly one day a week, but if I'm not living it every day, it has no meaning whatsoever. Believe me, I've tried this. I wanted to see what this would look like. What if I just showed up on Sunday, talked about the good news, and then through the rest of the week ran around and did all of my private investigation, all of my, searching for the evidence of all of that which was evil and all of that which was good, and try to make some determination around it. The only thing I got was a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, and a lot of missing the mark, or some call sin. So I had to come back to my centeredness. I had to come back to my oneness. I had to come back to that awareness that there is only one life, showing up in a multiple variety of beautiful individual beings, each of us having a purpose for making this wholeness, for making this complete. Without you, it's not complete. Spirit had an idea. It was you. Spirit said, I'm coming into the world, and I'm coming in as a very unique, individualized expression. And it was you. And it was you. And it was you. And it can only do it the way that it has done it, through you, as you, is you, through you. Without you, something would be missing. And we forget this. We separate ourselves from spirit. Oh, I'll be spiritual on Sunday. I'll be spiritual in my class. I'll be spiritual. But when I get in, no, not at the workplace. Not on the freeway. Not when I'm shopping. Then it's about